All right, today I want to talk about crime in black neighborhoods. And this is why I want to talk about crime in black neighborhoods. Because for some reason, politicians act like they don't get it. Cops complain about it. We deal with it because there's no choice in the matter for a whole lot of us. Well, I don't need any fancy study or a whole crap load of statistics to tell me why there's a lot of crime in black neighborhoods and why there's so much black on black crime. I have no need for the research. I've been black a long time. I believe that makes me an expert in the matter. So, this is it. I'm going to sum it up in one word. Hope. That's the most important word that we need to recognize in the black neighborhood, but we have difficulty doing it. And it's not entirely our fault. The majority of the blame actually lays on the system. Yep, it's the man's fault. And this is why it's the man's fault. See, before you just decide you're going to say it's the man's fault, you need to be able to explain that mess. Because so many soft-ass black people been blaming the man forever and not knowing why, and a lot of the fault actually fell on them. Well, this time it doesn't fall on us, most of it. All right? You see, the man has, ever since we've been here, done his best to divide black people in every single solitary way possible. And if anybody representing the system says that's a bunch of crap, you can point to two clear examples and shut their asses down. Martin Luther King started uniting all of us, and they made sure that Martin Luther King got assassinated. That's a fact, plain and simple. And then we have Malcolm. Malcolm really scared them. Oh, and there's one more example. I totally forgot that, but as soon as said Malcolm, it popped in my mind. Malcolm scared them because Malcolm used their laws against them. Malcolm got us together and got us to recognize that we can carry guns too. And as soon as we started carrying the guns and the law said that it was okay, they really got scared. See, he was getting us together, putting knowledge in our minds, and letting us know we can have guns too. We don't have to be scared of them. And let's not forget the Panthers. The Panthers scared them so much that they put the FBI on the Black Panthers and made sure that they either imprisoned or killed them. Because the Black Panthers were listening to Malcolm and carrying their weapons, protecting black neighborhoods, feeding us, and giving us hope. That's the thing with all three of them. They gave us hope. They gave us the opportunity to look and say, this is possible for us. One of the reasons the white supremacists are so active right now during this time period is because Barack gave us hope. They want to shatter that. It's one of the reasons Trump is doing everything he can do to erase the Barack Obama presidency, because they want to leave no evidence for us to look at for hope. So, because most black folks don't have any real generational wealth and Most of us don't pass our houses down to our kids and stuff like that. We mortgage them out and everything just so we can make it. We struggle and end up in low-income neighborhoods designed by the system. And you put a whole bunch of people together that have one thing in common. They don't have any money. Then they turn around in those neighborhoods and say, we're going to create large sections of Section 8 for the people struggling. But they tell the women, you can't have your husbands there or the baby's fathers there. And if they are there, then we're going to kick you out of your housing. Okay, so they got a whole bunch of poor people together and remove the man from the family. You remember how they used to do that in the slavery time? Yeah, we haven't progressed that much, so we should be able to remember that. So they separate us from our children, and our children don't have any example of what a real family is, and the girls can't see what a man is, and the boys don't see what a man is, and the women are struggling because they're by themselves, and uniting with their mate is very difficult because they can't really afford the beginning, and everyone's looking around and the kids are looking around and they're like, we ain't got nothing to do, we don't have any money, what are we going to do, how are we, when they get older, how are we going to afford college? The only black people we see around here where there's no, where we don't have any money, the only black people making it is the hustlers or the stick-up kid. They're the ones with some money. We don't have nothing. And they want a way out because they have no hope. And the family is destroyed. The woman does not have her man, and there's no way for them to advance themselves. And that's what happens to the kids. And the boys continuously being raised with no man, with no father figure, and women nowadays kind of discount the importance of a man. But the man will help bring up the girls with love and feeling protected. Most men will. And most men will bring up the boys, letting them see what a man is supposed to do. At least back a couple generations ago it would have happened. Now the boys don't know what a man is for the most part. They really don't understand it. And a woman can raise a boy to be a good person. But she cannot raise a boy to be a man because she's not a man. So she doesn't have any idea what a man really is supposed to be. Just like a man can't bring up a girl to be a good woman, we can bring them up to be a good person. They need a woman in their life to become a good woman, just like the boys need a man in their life to become a good man. So without the hope, they end up being, a lot of them end up being ignorant hooligans, and throughout generations, they lose their moral values, and we're seeing that a lot now. And they lose regard for human life. It's rough. And you see, if black people, and it has to be black people, get together and start mentorship programs in those neighborhoods. Got to be in the neighborhood, not outside of the neighborhood. They got to have ready access to them. Things can improve if the laws change. And in Section 8 houses, low-income houses, the family is allowed to be together. It will improve vastly. And one of the biggest problems is the only businesses in the neighborhoods are crappy furniture stores and Asian, and Indian corner stores and gas stations. Oh, and we don't need liquor stores and pawn shops on every corner either. And then again, the cops like to ride through those neighborhoods and treat black people like dogs. All of that, all of that plays into the degradation of the black race, their moral values, and the family structure and the strength of the family. You know, when you go to a lot of black churches nowadays, they preach to the woman, they don't preach to the family. And the family is the cornerstone to the congregation. You got to have the man in there too. So, to sum it up, because this is getting kind of long, the way to improve the situation with black people in this country is, one, let the man back into the family. Stop playing with us. Because eventually somebody's going to stand up and make sure that they fight back. So let the man back in the family, bring jobs into those neighborhoods, break those neighborhoods up into smaller sections so they can be some people that are lower class around some people that are middle class so they can see things can get better. I'm not saying reduce the number of housing there are for them, just spread them out in smaller sections. That'll also take care of the feeling penned in and being controlled directly by the police force coming in like the Gestapo. That'll also take care of the store problem as well. They'll see better stores and people that aren't so aggressive towards them just because they're black. But you got to change the law so the family can be together. And you've got to change the environment so they can see more. And somebody has to stand up for the black race and start bringing us together. And that's something that the system is definitely afraid of. Because when we come together, they can't stop us.